Hello, I am magazine viewers. Today we are getting together for a new show, and we have an amazing guest with us. It's Roxana Popet. Welcome, Roxana.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be with you today.
The pleasure is all ours. We're so happy to have you on the show today. We are going to talk a lot about very, very interesting things. Roxana, you are NLP practitioner, you're a transformational speaker, and also what I like the most about you is when you say you are the Army General of Fears. Could you please introduce yourself for our viewers?
Yes, well, it may sound interesting at first to hear someone, especially a woman, right, say that she's an Army General of Fears, but I have come to use this term because through the years, as I have been able to conquer, and I was actually obliged to conquer so many fears of mine, both in business and in my personal life. I had this amazing idea that, wow, these fears, if I can conquer them, I can teach other people to do that. And we may have this idea that the Army General of Fears would need to be someone that's harsh, someone that is very direct, but I am relying a lot on discipline, and I'll be sharing some great tips with you and our great audience today.
Thank you. And so you explain you have experience with fear, and I am actually curious, and I would like you to share with us what's your story with fears.
That is a very great question, Alexandra. And although it's a long story, I'll make it a long story short and simply tell you that I was in a lot of mental pain. I wanted to achieve a lot, but I was very afraid to even think of me being more, doing more, because I grew up in a culture of fear. And although my family provided for me as well as they could, I did not have the space to be myself, to express myself. I had no idea who I was until I was around 26 years young. I developed a lot of physical diseases because of a lot of frustration accumulated. I did not know how to express my feelings. And Alex, I was afraid to even breathe. I was afraid of my life. I was afraid to quit a job that I literally hated. And I got to understand that if I don't do anything to change now, it'll be too late. And not only the physical diseases would come and eat me up, actually, because this is how I felt. I felt helpless and a victim at one point.
Mhm.
But what would happen to my dreams? Because in a piece of my mind, I would keep those dreams of expressing myself, of helping other people be more, do more, of creating. And I got to step on my fears one step at a time through the help of NLP, neuro linguistic programming. And since then, I became a trainer. I help other people to learn about NLP, and life has never been more amazing since then. It was tough at first, but
Mhm.
things got to be more and more clear
Mhm.
along the way.
Right. Can I ask you, how long did it take for you to realize, okay, I can be more, I can do more, I don't have to be limited by my fears? How long did it last for you to be the afraid Roxana and to become then the brave, confident, courageous uh, general army of fears? Roxana.
This is a wonderful question as well. Alex, and
Mm-hmm.
you're giving me a lot of food for thought now. And I'm so happy to be sharing this with our audience. And I think it's maybe time to get a bit vulnerable and tell you how our audience and you should not do, because I did not take the easy way. I was pretty stubborn, to be honest, at first. I did not want to be guided. I didn't want to be coached too much. But unfortunately, and I say unfortunately, life pushed me. I had to. I waited too long, Alex, until I developed a heart disease. And if I had acted sooner, I would have been far more happier earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So it took me maybe 1 year to decide to take my first NLP practitioner course. I had the chance in 2015, but I only acted in 2016. And I have to say that I'm grateful that I took that path, even if it was 1 year later than none at all. However, I want you and our audience to know this. Do not, please do not postpone your path. Sooner or later, you will have to deal with it. You will have to face with your life. And the sooner you do the thing that you know that you should, it's the better, because things become easier and easier. The
Mm-hmm.
only difficult step is the first one.
Right. That is true. And why do you think that actually, when I was listening to you, I realized that I personally also went there, before you decide to actually ask a coach to coach you or somebody to mentor you, you take a lot of time thinking you can be self sufficient in this situation. Why is it that we always resist to get help?
Yes, this is a human trait. And I want to tell everyone that it's normal. It's natural. It's that fear of, wait, am I not enough for myself to be okay? What if that person can't help me? Or the fear that maybe I will lose my time. What am I going to do then? Or I will lose my money, waste energy. And we tend to understand in time that it actually takes courage to ask for help. And I want everyone to know that it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to be vulnerable and be open to someone that is more qualified to help you. Because obviously, we do the best that we can for ourselves, but there are things that we simply don't know. You cannot be professional and efficient in every single thing, right?
Right.
That you have out there. So it's a matter of courage and to understand yourself, to talk to yourself and admit that you need help.
Mm-hmm. Right. I clearly understand where you come from now and why you're doing it. And so you decided to become a coach, and that was in when? Which way? From when? The coaching?
It was in 2016,
Yeah.
but actually, Alex, this was not my original purpose. I wanted to do the course, the first level of practitioner, just to get my own emotions under control, to understand who I am, what is my role on this earth, and
Mm-hmm.
to also cure some of the diseases that I had. But I had such a major transformation
Mm-hmm.
that I then decided I'm going to do this. I'm going to have this part-time business and help friends, help my family, help the people that are around me.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, I think this is our duty once we are able to solve issues that are common to other people to help who we can help. Because there will always be someone who is touched by your experience, your message, and always, yeah, always somebody who will be able to identify herself or himself to what you're saying. And so, can you tell me more about the transformational speaking? How does that happen? I mean, I listen to you, I get transformed. What is it?
It is pretty much, yes, as you said. I have developed the Step on Your Fears company with the purpose of working with professionals,
Mhm.
organizations, and entrepreneurs to conquer their fears in business, mainly their fears in taking decisions. And because we are all entrepreneurs, and you are as well, we
Mhm.
want things to happen fast, right? We want direct guidance. We want it easy. We want it simple. Maybe not easy, but we want it simple to be put in practice now. Nothing too complex, right? I, for one, don't like it complex. I know you don't, Alex, either. So it is actually some of a lot of very easy to put in practice NLP exercises. I can show you some examples later on if you want to. It's actually shifting the way that you have seen fear so far. We mainly shift perspective, and as you can see me now, when we shift perspective, this happens in a matter of seconds. I truly believe that when people are decided to move forward, all it takes is maybe a sentence, a look, a word that's in the right place at the right time, and that person starts a new path in their lives completely. Because the thing with fear is that it happens all of a sudden. It's how our mind works, it's normal, it's natural, and as it happens so soon, it's the exact same thing with seeing it from a different perspective. And it's amazing. And I'm still amazed after 5 years of NLP how quickly we can deal with our mind.
Thank you for this nice explanation about transformational speaking. And now
Yeah.
let's talk a little bit more about NLP, because this is a very interesting discipline. And I think it does a big difference for people who are very conscious about it. Could you please explain a bit more what is it and and how can we practically use it in our daily lives?
Great question, Alex. Well, I first want to say that I love it that you said it is a discipline. And this is exactly what it is. And I like to call it the discipline of the mind. Neurolinguistic programming is the way that we talk to ourselves, how we create our thoughts in our mind so that we get to the results that we want. The thing is, Alex, that when we deal with our mind, it all starts with a thought. The thought gets to be the one that is materializing into our action. So as we get to speak to ourselves, and this is something that not most of us are used to observe. But when you get to understand that, wow, I can be empowering myself and I can be teaching myself how to be confident, how to take the right decisions despite fear, that's when we get to new levels of thinking each day. It's mainly how you get to create your interior monologue.
Okay. And so, how does that translate for you? For example, you're an expert in NLP, but you're a human being with emotions. So, some days you can have the negative thoughts, some days you can wake up with the fully positive thoughts. So, what's your morning routine, for example, to make sure that you you preserve your mind, and make sure that the day is filled with positive actions that take you forward.
Wow, that is something that I actually wanted to tell you about. A morning routine to most of us, and to me as well at the beginning, sounded dreadful. I had no way of spending time. I used to be very busy in the morning. And at first, when I heard of a morning routine, I was like, it's not for me. I just want to work on my things and that's it. Maybe
Mhm.
many of us have this feeling at first, right?
Right.
But then, as I began to read more, to talk to my mentors, to talk to my trainers, every one of them had something in the morning, a minute to themselves, when they could actually set up the entire day.
Mhm.
And it sounds amazing, right? To take a minute and to set up your entire day to be more than positive, more than aware of what's happening around you with each step.
Mhm.
But it's actually being productive. It's making sure that we as entrepreneurs, as organizations, we keep on track with what we have to do, because otherwise it may get overwhelming. And what I do, I have around 5 affirmations that are really simple that I use each morning. And it does take less than a minute, but they give me such a strong energy that I feel that I can do anything. And
Mhm.
if you want, I can tell them to you.
Sure.
It's not a secret.
Sure.
Uh,
Yes.
the first one is, I decide to have an amazing day in everything that I do today. It's easy, it's positive, it needs to be in the present tense, because otherwise, if you focus on the things that you don't want,
Mhm.
obviously,
Mhm.
you'll get that.
Yeah.
Then I say something like, I am in an amazing creative state the entire day. And then I say, I am healthy, I am happy, and I am completely loved, and I accept myself as I am. I sometimes change them
Mhm.
depending on my needs,
Right.
because when I feel that I have truly achieved something, then I shift it. And then I also focus on my business. I say something like, I am extremely productive and fulfilled today. It
Right.
may sound simple, right?
Mhm.
But it is so powerful. And when you take this minute to yourself, I suggest you go in a place where you are alone for a minute. We deserve this, although we have kids and we
Mhm.
have tons of responsibilities and we have our work to do. But this
Mhm.
1 minute creates magic,
Right.
and you get to do everything that you have set up to do for that day, because your energy, your attitude is based on solutions, on how, and you get to be in an extraordinary creative state as well.
Mhm. So, what is the most common blockage that you notice in entrepreneurs? Because well, it does concern entrepreneurs because, okay, the audience here is really made of entrepreneurs. What is the most common blockage that you can find, especially in women?
Yes, this is a very good question, especially when you said in women, because in a way, society expects from us to do it all, right?
Mm-hmm.
Be the perfect mom, be the perfect wife, be taking care of the house, be doing everything right, and be successful at the same time without complaining. You
Yeah.
may see me smiling as I say this now, but I used to be very influenced about what other people think. And this, Alex, I have come to understand after talking to many entrepreneurs, to many women, many young girls that would want to start their path as being financially independent. But the fear of what other people think would shut them down.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, nothing was stronger. They would be sharing their dreams with me. They would be telling me that they want to do so much. But when they would get to this point, but what will my parents think? What will my friends think? What will my spouse say? Then they would get completely numb. Their energy would be sucked right out of them. And in order to conquer this fear, if you want me to also give you a solution,
That was my
because
next question.
yes, because
Yes,
well, we are conquering our fears today, right?
we are indeed.
Yes. Now, in order to conquer this fear of what other people think, you need to get your ears covered. And I'm saying this both literally and getting it completely out of your system. And how you can do this, how you can shut your ears, because you cannot shut the mouth of anyone out there. It's not about the people
Mm-hmm.
out there, it's how you react in your interior, right?
Mm-hmm.
An amazing way to do this is to simply write down your goals, what you want to achieve. Alex, when you do this, there is another magical activity that is pretty much similar to you using those affirmations each morning for 1 minute. Putting things down on a piece of paper gets your mind to understand that you are committed. You will not let anyone and anything out there tell you what you need to do. And it's about that gut feeling that we were talking about a while
Mm-hmm.
ago. It's something that you need to commit to yourself. But until you write it down and you keep it in front of you as much as possible every day,
Mm-hmm.
there are no chances, unfortunately, that we can surpass this strong exterior influence. Writing your fears down, writing your ideals down, because the next step, maybe you have guessed it, when you write down your goals, it's very important to write down the things that you fear about these goals. It's
Mm-hmm.
called journaling. I'm pretty sure that you have used this, right?
Yes.
You have heard about this,
Mm-hmm.
and it's easy. It's something that we can do, although we feel overwhelmed, confused, we may lack clarity, we have maybe mental pain, we have no idea where to go. However, and I use this very simple, easy post-its most of the times when I feel that things are maybe not going my way, when I feel that maybe I'm a bit tensed,
Mm-hmm.
because it happens to everyone, let's be honest.
Right. Yes.
You can be the strongest and the most positive person in the world, but
Mm-hmm.
our mind is simply so magnificent that it has all sorts of ways of creating fear,
Mm-hmm.
and it's looking for problems because it's how it's designed. So using this great technique, Alex, which I recommend you test out and let me know how it goes,
I will.
oh my God, things are going to be so much more clear. And you get to understand, Alex, that when you write your fears down, you get them into your conscious mind, you get aware of them,
Mm-hmm.
they disappear. 90% of the cases where you write your fears down, they go away.
And so writing them down is, if I understand well, a way to be conscious of those fears, and then it makes it easier to conquer them. Like you will
Yes,
be able to do something about it instead of having
yes.
them just running around your mind.
Yes. And yeah, you said something great now. They don't stay in your mind anymore. The thing with writing things down is that you take them from here and you put them
Mm,
here, you put them on a piece of
right,
paper. And
right.
as your mind gets to see them clearly,
Mm-hmm,
black on white, it starts to focus on solutions. You get to say, oh, well, when other people judge me, or I'm afraid of what my colleagues will say if I start my own business, for example. When you see it written here, you get to think, well, but I don't like this job anymore. I mean, eventually I will have to be doing what I like. And let me think, maybe I'll stay for maybe 6 more months in this job, or
mm-hmm,
maybe I can start my activity as I'm here working in my job as well. Your mind gets to shift. It changes perspective, Alex. It gets to see the things that you can actually do with the resources that you have now. Because you know there's never a perfect timing. Never ever.
yeah, true.
You get to do the best that you can with the resources that you have now in the present moment.
Mm-hmm, that is true. I also, okay, I have two questions that came to my mind. It's about the journaling. Okay, it's indeed important to write down. What about, because we are in a world and society where everything is about applications. Write down your agenda in your Google Agenda app. Write down your goals. Or organize your work in Asana and Trello and everything. And so, writing down your goals, I have experienced it, is very powerful. What's the difference between writing down your goals on paper and keeping them in your computer? I personally feel that there is a difference for me, but I don't know if there is clearly a difference, and is it even natural that I don't feel comfortable with my goals in my computer and more comfortable with my goals on paper?
I actually missed saying this, so thank you for bringing this to my attention. Yes, writing them down with a pen and a piece of paper. There is a very strong stimulus when you do this with your own mind, with your own pen, with your own hand. You get to have these three concepts involved. It's your mind because you're thinking about them.
Mm-hmm,
Then you get to be writing things down with your hand that is automatically connected to our brain. We have a very strong connection with our hands
mm-hmm,
and with our mind. And when you get this, when you have this amazing freeing, it's actually an liberating activity to get your thoughts from your mind down
mm-hmm,
on a piece of paper. You get far more clarity, Alex, than if you type things down
mm-hmm.
on the computer.
Right. So it's really a naturally and even scientifically proven that it's better to write down. Um,
Yes.
the other question that I had is about making decisions while you are afraid, and it's about gut feeling. Most of the time, people will give you a lot of advice, and one day you will talk to somebody who's very wise and will tell you, listen to your guts, or do it afraid. And so, what do you think about gut feeling?
The gut feeling, Alex, is all there is. There is nothing more, nothing outside there, nothing more powerful than what you have inside of you. And if you want, I can share with you and our audience a very short example,
Yes.
an explanation of what happened to me around 4 years ago when I had a mentor. And she would tell me that on camera, because I then started to have my public speaking courses and trainings and all sorts of great courses that I was learning. And she told me that it's not okay if I follow those courses. I need to be keeping a straight face when I talk. I need to keep my hands like this, not moving them. And I need to be very professional. And I actually found myself being like a robot, very dull, very not myself, lacking
Mhm.
personality. And deep down, I felt it wasn't right. But I still did this because, yeah, as you said, we get to be influenced by all sorts of people out there. But if I had listened to my gut feeling, I would have saved a few great months of training the right way, as other great mentors would suggest you being. This is an example of my own activity, but obviously you need to be natural, use your hands, use your face, use
Right.
your body when you talk, not
True.
be robotics. So, yeah, this
Mhm.
is an example of us needing to listen to ourselves. Alex,
Mhm.
the only problem that we have when taking decisions is that we get to be pushing ourselves with a lot of aggression. We are usually very guilty about feeling the way that we do. We have a lot of frustration that we feel like that, instead of understanding that it's natural. It's the most normal thing in the world to be afraid,
Mhm.
especially when dealing with something challenging,
Mhm.
especially when we entrepreneurs have to take all sorts of decisions and we are not knowing exactly what may be the outcome. Most of the times, we just have to take that risk, build up some courage, and do it with fear, as you say. And I would love to give a short exercise to our audience. That's okay with you.
That's okay. Yes, please.
Well, when we have to deal with an important decision that's happening right now,
Mhm.
we feel tensed, we feel strange in our gut. Maybe we have no idea what to do. Maybe we have some clarity issues there. And if you get to observe how you're talking, maybe you would be saying something like, I'm really afraid to make this move right now. Maybe these are kind of the words that we usually use
Mhm.
before something major. But what if we change the way that we talk to ourselves by only using a different word? Instead of afraid, Alex, use excited.
Okay.
You can then change the story in your mind and say something like this: oh my God, I'm excited. Can you see that the energy is changing when you say excited?
Yes.
Then
True.
afraid.
Mhm.
I'm afraid. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm afraid, I'm blocked. But if I'm excited, wow, it means that something great is about to happen. I don't know exactly what,
Mhm.
but I'll manage it. I'll be taking care of it the best way I can, because let's face it, sooner or later, we have to take those decisions. The
Right.
more we wait,
True.
the harder it is. So
Mhm.
tell this to yourself: I'm excited now. I don't know exactly how it's going to be, but it's going to be great. It's going to be new, amazing, and I'll deal with it the best way I can. So, one word: excited.
Excited instead of afraid
Yeah.
does make a difference. I agree.
And it's easy. You can do this anytime you get to feel maybe stressed. And
Mm.
Alex, a great thing that I want to mention about this: do this 5 to 10 times, and then your mind is trained. It kicks in automatically the
Mhm.
excitement mode. No more fearful when taking decisions because you get it to repeat this action. And it is fascinating how
Mhm.
you get to be doing maybe in a week something new and you're excited directly, no more going through fear first.
Right. I also can imagine that it also is important to be surrounded by people who are also in the same kind of mindset. I do believe that if you're isolated and trying to go follow your dreams, but around you, all you have is people caring for you, but also very afraid, it can be very difficult to progress.
It's important, yes, it's
Mhm.
important to have positive people. But what happens if you don't have this? Let's focus on solutions. And I want to give you this great way of dealing with any adversity out there. It's Alex, most of the times, it has nothing to do with what's happening out there. We cannot control the attitude of our brothers, let's say, of our family. Maybe our friends are not the most supportive ones. So, what do you do then? Instead of being a victim, the victim mentality, I want us to clear this first. It's not something bad, it's
Mhm.
not negative. It is the easy way of our mind to be dealing with a very tough situation that it's not used to finding a solution yet. Now, the thing is that we need to get out of that victim mentality. And the question to ask yourself is, how can I focus on solutions despite the current situation? How can I focus on solutions despite the current situation? It is wonderful when you give your mind that hook of focusing on what you want instead of what you don't want.
Mhm. That is true. Um, I know, Roxana, you also have a podcast where we can listen to you. Can you tell us more about it? It's great. Um, it's a podcast where you talk about fears and how to handle them. When did you start the podcast?
Oh, thank you for asking me about this. This is a project that I'm so passionate about. I started this podcast at the beginning of 2021. It was actually in January with the help of my mentor, that is actually a podcast host, a very powerful podcast host himself. And I got to learn so much from him. And this Stories About Fear podcast that you can find on YouTube, on Spotify, is about the friendly approach to fear. And I have guests that are teaching us from different areas of life. Today, for example, I have a stock trader, an investor that is a pensioner at 25 years young. And I have all sorts of great guests that teach us from their experience because it's very important to be that open minded to learn from other people's mistakes as well and their experience so that you can avoid doing certain steps for yourself. As I was telling you at the beginning of our talk today, I was postponing. I was stubborn at first, and I don't
Mhm.
want people to do that. And that's why
Mhm.
I love it when my guests get vulnerable as well. They tell us what they did
Mhm.
wrong, and then you can get to be implementing this for the results that you want to obtain.
It's a great podcast. It is called Stories About Fear. And I do recommend our audience to listen to it. It's
Thank
available
you.
on Spotify, right?
Yeah.
And also, you have a YouTube channel where we
Yes.
can listen to great talks. And really, even this interview in itself is a great motivation I have no doubt. I am sure that our audience will find great elements to act on their fears and to go forward and to move towards their dreams. Um, how can the audience work with you? Do you have any coaching program that is available um, to work on the fears level?
Thank you so much. Thank you for the very kind words, Alex. I truly appreciate that. Our audience has two great ways of learning from all of the great guests that I'm having and from my experience as well. I do live sessions every single day on my YouTube channel where I actually answer the questions about fears in business that I get from my listeners. So if you have any
Love.
questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them live on YouTube. Just you can direct message me. I'm everywhere on social media, Roxana Popet. And also on my website, you can download the 7-step guide to permanently conquer your fears on roxanapopet.com. You get this wonderful guide that I have created actually for myself with a very powerful exercise. It's called the bag visualizing exercise. You get to be guided in the book. It is a very beautiful metaphor of how you can deal with your mind, and then you can use this exercise whenever needed. So I honestly suggest you test this out. Let me know how it goes.
Yes.
And yes, of course, if you need more, if you want more, as I'm specialized in fear in business and working with organizations and professionals, I have all sorts of great programs, actually experiences that I have put together in order to help with the fears of taking decisions for us entrepreneurs. It's all on my website, but make sure you test out the 7-step guide to permanently conquer your fears first. It's free and you will enjoy it as much as I did at the beginning, as it was actually a creation for me first.
Right. We will add all the links under this video because this is, I actually, I am excited to test the solution. I will put all the links under the video because I really think this is truly valuable for everyone. For everyone. Roxana, do you have a last advice? We are already reaching the end of our interview. It went so fast. It was so nice. And at the end, I like to give all our guests the freedom to say something, a last advice for the audience or anything that crosses your mind.
Alex, thank you so much. And I want to thank you for an amazing talk. It has been wonderful. You are an amazing host. You are such a
Thank you.
wonderful, positive person, and I have felt so comfortable, maybe more comfortable than I should, than I should have. And one thought before we leave today is to be yourself. It sounds easy, it sounds simple, and it is. You hear this everywhere, right? You see it everywhere. Just be yourself. But what does this mean? It means that you take some time to be understanding what's here, what's in your heart, what's in your mind. Find that balance by listening to your gut feeling. It's our second brain. Get connected to yourself as much as possible through the day. When you have some time, some minutes, 1 minute for yourself, maybe you're on a break, take some time to connect with yourself by thinking, what is it that you truly want? Is what's happening today aligned with your purposes, with your goals? Because Unfortunately, and I say unfortunately, we get to lose ourselves in the process. We want a lot of things done. We want to perform. We are all overachievers, right?
Mhm.
But what about what's happening here? You need to be asking yourself some good questions as often as you can through the day. Am I happy? Am I content with the people I have around me? Am I fulfilled with my professional life? And as you get to ask yourself this more and more, you will get yourself on the right track in order to be the best version of yourself and to create the best life that you can for yourself, because we so deserve to be happy and content fully,
Mhm.
without exceptions, without compromises.
True, without compromise is very, very important.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Roxana, for this great talk. I want to remind our audience that today we discussed about how we can conquer our fears. Roxana Popet, she's an NLP practitioner, she's a transformational speaker, and what I like the most, an army general of fears. And I can tell you, she knows how to conquer them. So if you have any comment or questions for Roxana, please do not hesitate to type them under this video. It was my pleasure to have you here, Roxana, today.
The pleasure was all mine. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. An amazing talk, Alex. Thank you.
Thank you. I wish you a great day ahead. And I am magazine viewers. See you in the next show. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.